Hello. Colleen and I were just chatting, and we thought we would just pop on to give you a little teaser for season 2 that's coming up soon. So I'm going to pass it over to Colleen.
So we started this podcast on October 25th, 2024. So we're coming up on our year anniversary. We're already thinking about season 2. We have so many ideas already about, we constantly are texting each other about, oh, this would be such a good thing to talk about on the podcast. So we're ready to hit the ground running for season 2. But of course, we can't leave you without talking about some book. So that's why we're here, because we were talking about the book and now we thought we would talk about it with everybody. It's just the two of us today. So we're going to talk about this book. So it's by Neige Sinno and Sad Tiger. It is translated from the French. And I started reading this, and I was probably about a third of the way through and texted Rebecca and said, I think you need to read this. I had seen it on several lists, and I do like works that were in French. I've read a few actually this summer now that I'm thinking about it. We both have in translation. And so I had bought it months ago. I finally got to it this summer. I knew it was a book I was going to need a little space for. And we can talk a little bit about that, about why. But Rebecca, what did you think when you did pick it up? I think you didn't buy it right away, right?
That's right. I got it from the library first. And I think I was the first person in Bellingham that actually got the copy. And I started reading it, and I immediately was like, okay, I'm going to need a copy. I think you even warned me that I would need a copy because I already wanted to start underlining and making notes, putting my little tabs in there of things that I'm loving. So yeah, and I think one of the first things that really prompted me to do that was because I really like looking at this as a writer, like how she tells her story. And throughout, she makes these references to the reader that I really love when they do that. And so I think it was, I actually have it on page 41. It wasn't the first thing that I wanted to underline, but it was one of the things that I really liked. I think I was probably at
Yeah, we talked about that.
I think I was probably at 41 when I was like, okay, buying a book now. Like I went to my local bookstore. Like I need this book. And it was basically, dear reader, kindred spirit, sister, I have a confession to make, for I have no desire to mislead you. And it goes on and on. But I love that address to the reader that she did throughout. And then also, I really liked her openness on the struggle that most people experience when they're writing memoir, which is, who's going to read this? Why would anyone care?
And we should talk about it's about her being assaulted by her stepdad.
Yeah.
And who does eventually go to jail for that, and that there is a trial and what that has meant for her. And so it does feel like a really extraordinary story, but we should be clear that that's what this is about. But she still continues to like doubt herself, and also like doesn't do a lot to make the reader feel better, which I like when books do that. Like I'm going to tell my story and you can come along for the ride or not. That's kind of how it felt to me. So and then the use of newspaper articles and all these things that I know Rebecca as a writer really loves doing. So it is a hard read. It is a creative read. It is an excellent read. And also as writers, I think it was an instructive read. I think this will be a book that I go back to and kind of watch how Neige maneuvers through things. So I really appreciated this book, and I'm glad you liked it too.
Yeah, and talking about the newspaper articles, there's one point where it's like a story of her life, or I think it was like her hiking or something. I can't remember now, but I remember her like in a cave or something. Yeah. And again, in the address to the readers, like you're probably wondering what this has to do with my story, because I'm telling you this story of this sexual assault. Well, actually, like long term, anyway. And she's like, but it doesn't have anything to do with that, but it has to do with my life, and that's all part of me. Like these are all parts of me, and I thought that was a really impactful way to say, I'm not just this
Yes.
one thing, right?
Yes.
I'm not just this one story that I'm writing this book about. I'm
And
more
she's a
than
mother
that.
now, right? And so she's the
Yeah.
mother to a daughter. So I always appreciate books that are tangling with how to talk to your kids about your own trauma and how to not scare them away, but be honest with them. There's letters in here. It's really, I think it was every article that I read that said it was great. I believe like the top Annie Ernaux, who's won the Nobel Prize for Literature, said this is the most powerful, profound book I've ever read about the devastation of one person's childhood by an adult. I feel like that's pretty fair. And I've read books like that. It's just, and then the use of other stories and her talking about other literature. And it really is, I mean, if you can sit with the subject matter, it is absolutely worth your time if you like memoir.
Yeah, absolutely. I've shared it with a couple people, and I've said the same thing. Like, don't go into this if that's a difficult, thing for you to read. So, but it does give you that insight, and it was beautifully written. And I think she was brave in the way that she did it too, because I think that's part of the story as well.
Yeah. So we wanted to make sure we checked in and talked about a book we love before we all disperse until
Yes,
season 2. But we will read that.
absolutely. And just to let you know that we're super excited for season 2 that will be coming out in October. And Athena will be with us. This was just, again, a random call that we were having. And we're just like, oh, hey, let's just like give a shout out and do a, thank you, listeners, for a whole year of listening. I can't believe we're almost there. So we still have episodes coming out in this month, August and September. And then the new season starts in October.
And I feel like we're just getting better and better. So
yes.
Thanks for coming along with us on the ride from the beginning. If you've been there from the beginning, and if not, welcome aboard today.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day.